is a lot about, it's like, again, like this witness and this passing of time, and this also like the collapse of the table, like kind of acknowledging the ground. So the other piece that came up for me was how this body nourishes, but the connection to land and place, and how this ground is our feasting ground. And so the wood table speaking to the trees, and then this marker of time with the grain and my stretch marks on the belly, and this again creating a monument and a honoring of the work that this body, my own body, has done.
I didn't see the stretch marks.
Well, yeah, you can't really see them, but they're there. It's like my belly is really striated with white, and so, but it melds right in with the table, right?
Yeah.
And so.
And the table, of course, another symbol of domestic life.
Yeah, but then the table being reoriented to meet the ground, not in its usual orientation, and that felt really important when I was, at first I thought, oh, I'm going to have this projecting from above, and then as I was working in the studio, I was like, it needs to meet the ground, it needs to be horizontal, like.
It also really gives life to the table.
And then the table starts breathing. Yeah, yeah. And this is the thing, right? While I was making the work, it was important to bring in pieces from my home, because a lot of what I was doing was re-examining my own relationship of my body, of my psyche to objects and the space in my home. What happens, my work changed so much over the last 7 years. My studio's in my house.
What did your work used to look like?
My work used to look like I used to do a lot more workshops and environmental, like I did consulting work.
Right.
And so I put that as very part-time work.
What about your art? Your art did your art pre-kids look very different than your art post-kids?
This work is so informed by my experience of having children. Yes, but there's still certain sensibilities and aesthetics that mark my practice and are still here. So
why are the linens so white?
White, color is like a really important consideration for me, and I wanted to limit the color palette, and it's about absence and this also like this witness, like this kind of ghostly presence. It was mostly intuitive. I just knew it needed to be white, and there's this. I was also trying to elevate the mundane, and so with white, it's a color of purity, of reflection. And just on a personal level, like my grandmother, I never saw her wear color. She always wore a white sari. So there's a moment where I put the tablecloth on my head, and that's my image of my, and the gestures that I'm recreating in the large projection are these kind of gestures of like women's work, every woman's work, whether it's kneading dough or grinding spices, wrapping or swaddling, washing. So,
it's also a neutral color, so one can project one's own meaning onto it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the blank canvas, right? So, yeah, and that's the thing. Often I start with really personal memories or personal images, and then I translate that to something quite neutral, so that other people can bring their own connection or stories into the work. The dresser piece is.
Did I say laundry?
Oh yes, yeah. So yeah, I'm holding. So it's simply a video of me gathering linens and gathering sort of this endless pile of linen, which references domestic work and the work that so many mothers and parents do of laundry and keeping a home. But I'm gathering them with this tenderness, and then in the end, when I have the large heap, I end up swaddling it. And so it's about elevating the everyday gesture and the mundane. It's seemingly endless. It ends in this heap. And I was surprised when I was making the work. I thought when I entered the studio to make this body of work that it would be about, well, finally I'm back in the studio full time. As parents and artists, we often have the struggle of juggling childcare and making work. But I felt, and I was never the kind of mother or parent who, missed my children terribly or couldn't bear to part with them and go in the studio. The studio was in many ways my refuge. But when I started making this work, I was very surprised at the grief that came up and the sadness that I had over this loss of certain gestures that I realized my body would never perform again. The swaddling, the cradling of a young infant. This was an everyday practice for me, and now that my children are older, it's not a gesture that my body embodies anymore. And so bearing witness, all the works really become monuments and a way for me to witness my own work as a mother and to contemplate that, the banality of it, but also the transcendental quality of that work as well. And in some way, it's a remembrance of a time that's now passed for me, and I'm transitioned into a state of a new family stage.